Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us all this truth true and well. And I wanted to go into, I went out to camp the other day, and I brought this point out, and I wanted to make a video on it. I've made one before, maybe a few years ago. But I wanted to bring this back out because it's an important thing to know why the Gentiles, one, who they were, and two, why they were told to keep these specific laws coming into the fold, But I wanted to start off at Acts 15 and 12. It says, "Then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring what miracles and wonders the Most High had wrought among the Gentiles by them." Okay, which when you go to, I'm going to go into the book of Leviticus, but let me go to this one first. Let's go to Tobit 13, because it brings it out beautifully. Tobit 13 and 2, "For he doth scourge," talking about the Most High, "and hath mercy, and leadeth down to hell," which is the graveyard, all right, "and bringeth up again." That's why Yahawashi conquered hell, because he conquered death and hell. It says, "Neither is there any that can avoid his hand. Confess him before the Gentiles, ye children of Israel, for he hath scattered us among them." Okay, so when the Gentiles start confessing the Most High, Yahweh, and Yahawashi his son, that means they're the children of Israel. Okay, they're not natural born Gentiles, which that word Gentiles in the Hebrew is gawayam, which means other nation. Okay, so that's what they call the other nations, Gentiles. "For he has scattered us among them, there declare his greatness and extol him before all the living, for he is our Lord, and he is our God, the God our Father, forever." You see? "And he will scourge us for our iniquities," which is what the whole nation of Israel has done, "and will have mercy again, and will gather us out of all nations, among whom he hath scattered us." You see? So let me go back to Leviticus 17. But it says Acts 15 again. "Then all the multitude kept silence and gave audience to Barnabas and Paul, declaring what miracles and wonders Yahweh had wrought among the Gentiles by them." Okay, because those Gentiles that received the word in Acts 10 and in Acts 11, those Gentiles that received the word and received the blessing of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, those were Israelites that received the word. The same thing that's happening now. Okay, you have Gentiles that have this Gentile state of mind that are coming out of this haze into the truth, right? So it says James' judgment, verse 13, okay, which goes into the Apostle James and what he's going to bring to the table from what Apostle Paul and all the other apostles are bringing and what people are saying about the Gentiles, right? It says, verse 13, "And after they had held their peace, James answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Simeon hath declared how the Most High Yahweh at the first did visit the Gentiles, to take out of them a people for his name." Okay, which goes hand in hand with Tobit 13, saying out of the Gentiles are the children of Israel. Verse 15, "And to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written, After this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down." Which is what? Building that building again, right? And that's what's happening right now. I believe also Ezekiel 16 maybe. But it says, "And I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord." Okay, which that word residue We'll go check it out. Hebrews, it's G2645 for the Greek left remaining, okay, which is what the what is it called, Salak? The elect are, okay, those that remain. It's a small amount. So it says that the residue of men of Israel might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles, which are of Israel, upon whom my name is called. You see? So it's implied. Who did the Most High give his name to? Let's go to Amos real quick. Amos 3:1. Hear this word, O Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up out of the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. You see? So it comes down to Israel again. So it says, verse 17 again, that the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called. Right? Yasher Allah. So it says, saith Yahweh, who doeth all these things. Verse 18, known unto Yahweh are all his works from the beginning of the world. And that's in 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 1. It goes through the story of how the Most High created the heavens, created the stars, created the earth, created the hot mountains, which are the volcanoes, the hot chimneys in Israel, which is living people. Okay, it goes through a line of events, and then it says, before all these things were even done, then did I consider, which to consider or to ponder means to have deep thought upon, right? So the Most High considered all these things. He thought about all these things before it even happened. You see? So it says, verse 20, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. Let me start off at verse 19. Acts 15:19, wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High. Okay? Because there was people that were troubling, and that word trouble doesn't mean that they were getting in trouble or, any of that. It just means that they were putting a burden upon the Gentiles freshly coming in to cause trouble in a matter, to trouble to annoy. Okay? Harass down here. That's what they were doing. They were harassing, okay, the Israelites that were coming into the fold. Okay? Harassing them, telling them, you have to keep every single one of our laws, you have to keep everything to the perfection, when it tells you that even the Jews themselves didn't keep it to the perfection. That's why we needed Yahweh Shai, because we couldn't keep everything to the perfection of the law. So Acts 15:18 from the top, known unto the Most High Yahweh are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to Yahweh. Okay? Why? Because they're Israelites from among the Gentiles. Okay? Knowing that you were once, let me see. 1 Corinthians 12:2, ye know that ye were Gentiles. Okay? Which when you're a Gentile, okay, of another nation, you remain a Gentile. You can't be grafted in as an orange tree, or as an orange tree to an apple tree, as a pear or banana tree. to an apple tree. You can't be grafted in unless you're an apple. If that makes sense. So that you were Gentiles, which means in that Gentile state of mind, Hellenistas, which, let me see what that word Gentile means. Ethnos, a multitude, whether of men or beasts, associated or living together. Okay, so they were associated to the Greeks because they were living with the Greeks. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they were the Greeks. The original Greeks, okay, because it says there's no difference between Jew or Greek, because there wasn't at the time, with certain Greeks being Israelites that were of the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi. But they had converted to Greek because of really Ptolemy, Antiochus Epiphanes, the rulers around that time that forced, after Alexander, the Jews to follow after the ways of the Greek. You see? But it says, that you were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. You see? They were Gentiles, which means you were in that state of mind. There's another one in, what is it? Might have been Ezekiel 30. That which cometh to your mind shall not be the same. We will be like the Gentiles. Is it like the Gentiles? No. Other nations. It's a lock. I don't need to get it. Let me go back. I was in Acts. Acts 15 and 18. Back to Acts 15 and 18. Known unto the God of all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to the Most High. Okay, which are Israelites going back to their heritage, being grafted in as apples back to the apple tree, right? Or olives back to the olive tree. But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollutions, 1, and from fornication, 2, from things strangled, 3, and from blood, 4. Okay, those are the 4 main things that the apostles told the Gentiles coming in. These are the 4 main things you have to keep. And that was in the beginning. Because after they increase wisdom, knowledge, understanding, they also increase in what they can keep. Right? For Moses of old time hath in every city them that preached him, being read in the synagogues every Sabbath day. All right, now let's go to Leviticus 17 and verse 10. Whosoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, okay, which this is talking about other strangers, but now at times, all right, it's talking about the strangers that are from Israel, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against the soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. That's one of the 4, right? One of the 4 things that the apostle said. Clear from blood. For the life of flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. You see? Neither, therefore, I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any strangers that sojourn among you eat blood. And you think in the kingdom of heaven the Most High is going to change that law? No. Okay? No eating blood. That's it. Point blank, period. That's the way that it's supposed to be. Jumping up to verse 7, it says, "And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations." Which is what? False idols. The same thing we read in 1 Corinthians. Right? It's the same thing we read here. That's 2 of the 4. Acts 15 and 20. "But write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols." That was actually number 1, verse 7. "And from fornication," which is in Leviticus 18. "From things strangled, and from blood," which is 2 of the 4. All right. Leviticus 17:7. "And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils," okay, which are these idols, "after whom they have gone a whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations." That's 1. "And whatsoever man there be," verse 10, "of the house of Israel, of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against the soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people." That's 2, right? Leviticus 18 and 3, "After the doings of the land of Egypt," which actually I believe 17 also has the thing strangled. It might be over here. Let me see. "Uncover the nakedness, kinswoman." Yeah, I think it was 17. I brought it out the other day during camp. "Commit any abominations, souls, spew." Let me see if I can find this a lot. "Kill without lamb. Bring sacrifices. Priest sprinkle the blood. Sojourn. Eat blood, neither sojourn to eat blood." Because you're supposed to, I think it was 13. Let me see. Leviticus 17 and 13. "And whosoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast of fowl that may be eaten, he shall eat, even pour out the blood thereof, and cover it with dust." Okay, you're supposed to pour the blood out of the animal, okay, so that it falls to the ground, and then you're supposed to cover the blood, and then you can eat the animal. Okay, that's why you can't eat strangled food. "For it is the life of all flesh, the blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh." You see? "For the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off. And every soul that eateth that which died of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be of one of your own country or a stranger, or shall both wash his clothes, and bathe themselves in water, and be clean until the evening. Then shall he be clean." You see? So that's why you can't eat strangled food. It's supposed to be spilled on the ground and then covered over. You know? But it says Leviticus 18, and now going to number 4, which is the sexual immorality, right? Where it says fornication. First, we're going to get that word in the Greek, fornication, so people know. Idols, fornication, porneia. What does that sound like? Porneia. Sounds like porn. Okay? Which means the act of watching a man take a married woman, or the act of a man taking a married woman. Okay? So it says illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, sexual intercourse with close relatives, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or a woman, which actually that's false. It's really with a divorced woman. Metaphor, the worship of idols. Okay, which this passage doesn't really go into the metaphor of worship of idols because it already went over it, but it's sexual immorality, basically what it comes down to. And like you're reading right there, it goes into Leviticus 18. Okay? Why? Because around that time, you had, whenever they went to the Gentiles, there were certain places that the Gentiles were okay with the son having sex with the mother and the father having sex with the daughter, or even the father and the son, so there was a bunch of confusion that was going on, and with animals as well. There was a lot of confusion going on, because we know how the Greeks are, and we know how the Romans were. They volunteered in these type of sexual immoral, what's it called? Like games and such. That's why you also have the super elite now. Okay, that involve themselves in sexual orgies. Because they still have the same beliefs. Why? Because it's the same people in rulership that was back then. I was watching this History Channel. I need to go back and see if I can find it. But in that History Channel, there was two big points that I saw in that whole episode. The first one was being everything similar to Rome. The way that things are now, everything's similar to how Rome was. And that's true, because that's the beast that gave his seed up. Or the dragon that gave his seed to the beast. Which the dragon is the Roman Empire that gave his seed to the beast, which is NATO and EU. Because everything is still the same as it was before. That mindset and even the immoral things, like the sexual activities that were going on back then, and things of that nature. So let's go to Leviticus 18, starting off at verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And these are things that were going on in Egypt as well. When you go into their oldest papyrus, okay, and things that were going on, there was rituals that they would perform where young men would, lay with older men, and there was orgies that were going on, things of that nature, man. Sexual activities that were immoral, okay, in the eyes of the Most High. Some more abominable than others, but all still equally a sin. All right, so there's also the thing with birthdays. Okay, this is something that's not written exactly in the law. We don't celebrate birthdays. As men of the Lord, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have your kids doing that, because even though the kids are not under the law, they're still under you, which you are under the law. So as a teacher, okay, especially as a man of the Lord, your job is to put into effect what you learn, right? So if you learn that you can't celebrate your birthdays, why do you think the Most High would be okay with you pushing your children to celebrate birthdays? Okay? That's blood on your hands, man. So it says, celebrating birthdays, that's one of them. There's another one that proves that the what's it called? That the Egyptians celebrated birthdays. When you go to the word birthday, I think it's mentioned like 2 times. Herod's birthday, okay, which we know Herod was an Edomite. Convenient day was come that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee. So you kind of just have to put it in perspective, man. If all these heathen were celebrating birthdays, do you think it's something that Israel should be celebrating? And it's not. All right, Genesis 40:20. And it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, okay, talking about Egypt, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. So he was having a party, right? For Pharaoh's birthday, he was having a party, which is something that heathens do, which is a tradition, one of the oldest traditions in the world, man. Birthdays, celebrating the birthday. So from Egypt, Leviticus 18:3, this is almost as soon as us leaving Egypt, okay? It says, after the doings of the land of Egypt, including birthdays, sexual acts, immoralities, ordinances that they had, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, okay, where they're going, where Israel later is going to be, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Okay? Which is what? Another thing that Egypt was big on was idolatry. They had false idols that were risen, and they worshiped those idols, man. Okay? That's something you see a lot in Catholicism, all right, Christianity. See? So it says, ye shall do my judgments. The judgments of who? The Most High Yahweh, which is through the scriptures, throughout the whole entire scriptures, 100%. Okay? Ye shall do my judgments and keep mine ordinances, which is like today. Today is one of the ordinances that we have to keep. Okay? Today's the day where where one, we remorse. Two, we fast for a whole day. Started yesterday at evening, ends today at evening. The day before that was the Sabbath, which is celebrated every 7 days, and every new moon, which is when when the sky is dark, there's no moon in the sky. That's a new moon because it's fully black. And then you have your phases of the moon, and every quarter is a Sabbath, and it changes every single month. You're not going to have a Sabbath day that's not going to fall on the 2 crescent and the 1, actually it's, see, the new moon, it's the first phase, and then the second phase is a crescent, and then you have your full moon, and then you have your other crescent, and then you have another new moon. So it says, ye shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am Yahweh your God. You see? Yea, ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. And that was the whole point of the apostle in Acts 15 bringing this up. Because once you start a few of them and you start keeping them, you're going to be able to expand your knowledge and keep more of them. That way steadily you'll grow in this truth. Instead of being pressured as soon as you come in, all right, now you have to wear only one type of clothing, okay, one type of cloth, only cotton or only whatever. You have to know when the Sabbath is, when the new moon is. You have to know everything, which is putting a big burden on brothers when they first come in, because they don't know everything. That's why they're coming in, because they're trying to change, right? So when you're trying to change, you don't automatically just change. It takes time, and it takes will, and it takes strength to increase, which if the Most High sees you, he will increase you, according to, what was that, book of Corinthians, I believe? Apollos has watered. Let me actually get that. But the Most High gave increase. First Corinthians 3:6. I have planted, Apollos watered. Right? So whoever planted the seed of truth into the mind of the person, and as it mixed in their mind, oh, let me check out Apostle Tahar, Apostle Ramlab, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rakah, the elders, the brothers, to increase that knowledge. Apollos watered. Okay, you can increase that knowledge by watching those videos. But the Most High Yahweh gave the increase. You see? So if you come right to the Most High, he'll increase you. And you'll learn more and you'll keep more. Right? So Leviticus 18, it says, none of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am Yahweh. This is going to the number 4, which is sexual immorality. Okay? So why would the apostle, if the law is done away with, why would the apostle James go into the book of Leviticus to show the Gentiles freshly coming in, okay, this is to the house of Israel. The book of Leviticus is mainly to the house of Israel, or really only to the house of Israel. Okay? So why would the apostle go into the book of Leviticus to show them what they should be? It wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't make any sense. Except he knew that they were Israelites. So none of you shall approach to any that are near of kin to him. And if you don't know what near of kin to him, it'll explain it to you. The nakedness of thy father's wife, thy sister, thy son's daughter, or thy daughter's daughter. Okay, thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, which is like a stepsister. Okay, which really she's just your sister. Okay, or your father's sister. The nakedness of thy mother's sister. Thy father's brother, which is your uncle, or thy father's brother's wife, which is thine aunt. Okay, it goes into it for a reason. And people read over this, which also goes into animals. It goes into, different kind of things, and sacrificing kids and children, which, we know we're not supposed to do, but that's why everything is there in the law, man. And people look at the law and they're like, well, is God really going to fault me for not wearing one fabric? Which, no, he's not. But he gave you things that you should keep. All right, if you're going to try and increase in this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, man. He put it there for a reason. So let me go to verse 20 again. It says, Acts 15:20. All right, so the people were bothering the Gentiles and putting a burden on them that they should keep all the laws. And this is what the apostles came up with. But that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols. Okay, false idols. From fornication, which is immoral activity. All right, sexual activity. And from things strangled. Okay, because the blood has to be spilt on things you eat. You can't strangle something and then eat it. Okay, things strangled. So that means you have to watch what you eat and how you eat it, and from blood. You see? These are things that you ought to keep first coming in. So they put that there for a reason, and that reason is this is only for Israelites. You see? So with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Shalom.